What's going on, guys? Sim Standard, Madden 12 review. My reviews have always been really more of an impression piece, and I want to give two key impressions I get from Madden right off the bat. The first of which is I feel like after playing this game that the console year of the 360 and the PS3 has been wasted in video game football. I feel like EA sold Madden for the past 4 years on its laurels, on its legacy that they had created, and they never made an attempt to improve a product because there was no competition in the marketplace. And there's really no other way to look at that. When you look at this year, you see a marked improvement in the product, and the competition came from Backbreaker, which is a game that came out and met almost exceedingly mediocre reviews. I find that almost shameful that it took the slightest bit of competition to be a catalyst to provide the consumers a better product. The other problem I have is, in playing Madden 12, I see a lot, and I mean a lot, of NFL 2K5 and All-Pro Football 2K8. And I say that because the critiques of Madden have always rested against those two games. Seldom in Backbreaker, but mainly in those two games. And I think a lot of the mistaken thought process from EA Sports and from viewers of these videos and channels is that we wanted a repackaged 2K product from EA Sports. It's not what we wanted, but it certainly feels like it's what we've got. And it's to the point where I feel like if you didn't like 2K5 or All-Pro Football, then you actually might not like Madden this year. I don't know what that says about the product that they created, but I find it pretty ironic. One of the biggest problems I have with Madden is its inability to build on the foundations it has. You know, we're looking at a sequence that was from Madden 2011. And this is a very good intro sequence. Now, of course, the commentary in Madden 11 was very stale and stagnant, and that's something that's carried over to Madden 12. In fact, you know, there's times where it seems like Gus Johnson is the only commentator. It's times where you hear audio that's clearly been recorded seemingly on a cell phone and then put into the game. I want to know why Madden can't build a foundation to improve their game every year. Why these sequences that you see here that obviously took a long amount of time to create are just washed away from one year to the next. When we go in and look at the halftime shows of Madden 2010, you know, what happens to all this time and effort? Where do these things go? What we're left with now is essentially one of the most bare bones halftime and post-game shows that is imaginable. It's essentially just a frame put up with highlights thrown together from the game, and that's not what we expect on a next-gen console. You know, we want foundations laid and then the game built upon.
ProTac is a brand new animation technology for us and allows us to do many things when you're actually playing Madden on the field. The first of which, and probably the most important, is 3 to 9 man gang tackles. And this is a really cool feature because, you know, 9 man gang tackles is a phenomenon we've never seen in Madden before.
I think it's a major game changer. We thought it was really just going to help authenticity and help realism, but then, you know, seeing all these times now where you can get stopped at the goal line and push forward or backward, or have an offensive lineman hit you in the back and give you that first down, those are major moments that we've never had anything close to.
ProTac is gone. There is no signs that I can find of ProTac in this game, and although it's a better game for it, I find it a little bit disheartening that I don't know one commentator in this genre that spoke positively of ProTac, yet it was constantly defended by EA. They actually came out with 2 iterations of ProTac. However, Madden 12 is an improvement. There's a lot of things I like about this game. One is the animations are a lot more seamless. You know, this is a scenario anybody that's played Madden the past few years has lived over and over and over. You've got a slant route going across, your cornerback goes to make a tackle from behind, stands the player up, and then all of a sudden, all your defenders that are supposed to be coming in to aid in this tackle seemingly get, you know, pro-tacked out of the way or motion shifted out of the way. Now, consistently, you have situations where your linebacker can come in, decleat somebody, and put the end to a play. You really don't have that moment of trepidation where you're worried somehow is the offensive player going to break free from this and leave me sitting there looking at 6 points on the board. All right, taking a look at this catch with Blair White. At speed, you can see this is pretty seamless. This is a seamlessness we haven't seen out of Madden in a long time. in terms of your animation transitions. You can see there's the catch by White, goes to turn upfield, kind of gets pushed back by number 25. Now, I don't know if I like the fact that he's able to miss this tackle from Reed Doughty, but, you know, if you want to take for granted you've got a possession receiver going against a questionable tackler, you know, maybe I can see it, but I definitely don't like that he's looking the other way and able to shift a tackle, but then Atagwe comes in and clearly knocks a player that was off balance down for the end of the play. So just one more time at speed, and again, just the seamlessness of these animation transitions that we haven't seen in a long time out of a Madden franchise product. You know, take a look at this play. I also want to use this as an example of really something that plagued this franchise for the longest time. And I'm not saying it's completely been corrected. I'm just saying it's been a lot more consistent. You've got a receiver here that's going to run a comeback route. He's going to catch the ball right here, have no momentum, no forward progress, trying to get the ball upfield. You've got a defender that's been running for about 10 yards to get to him. And by the way, they're also pretty much isolated by themselves. Now, online, offline, the problem stayed true. You know, you've got a defender, you know, whether it's user controlled or not, it's going to try to use a hit stick here. You know, obviously you've got all the momentum. That's the time to be using a hit stick. The computer would allow the offensive player to get a juke or a spin or a rip, some way of getting out of this tackle. And because you are so isolated in the field, it's turned into a huge play. Completely unrealistic in the fact that the hit stick kind of overrode the realism of just trying to get the tackle once you've made the hit. But in terms of consistency, this is something that I've seen get very corrected. The hit comes up and gets made, knocks the player backwards, so it's a good thing to see. You know, to me, one of the most needed and sought-after improvements with Madden 12 is this dynamic player performance. It does a great job of making players a little bit better and a little bit worse. It's something we saw put in with Backbreaker when they talk about form, but this kind of takes it to another level because you can see what the player is going to be better or worse at. The only thing I worry about is really the players that get on a real hot streak sometimes seem to be unstoppable. You're going to see an example here where Brian Leonard got on a hot streak and ran for, you know, some significant yardage based on who Brian Leonard is, and another one where obviously you see here Pac-Man Jones got, you know, a pretty good amount of interceptions. Those were both stats from just one half of gameplay. So I think maybe it just needs something to help keep it in check, but it's something I'm really glad they added to the game. You know, one of the other changes this year is the preseason has worked correctly, and I do like a lot of things. Of course, you have your progressions done properly. You also have your fourth game of the season. A lot of your starters are out. However, there's still some eerie depth chart things that happen. I mean, like you see here, I've got, you know, Pierre Garçon being tackled by Chad Johnson, and you'll also probably see your punter in as your quarterback and your kicker in as your punter. You know, just some really weird things that I feel like could have easily been tweaked. So, in closing, I feel like this Madden, more than any Madden on this generation console, is worth your purchase. But that doesn't say a lot. Because it's only worth your purchase because I feel like it's the first year where we've actually got an improved game. And at this point, EA Sports has skewed the football market so much, we don't know truly what an improved game is. When you look at your basketball and your baseball genres, our game's growth has almost been stuttered to a point where a facelifted game from a few years ago may look like an entirely new game to us. And I think that is what I'm left with as an impression of this game more than anything else. For all the good in it, it's hard for me to get past the past 4 years, 5 years of mediocrity. It almost, if you think about it, essentially an entire console, whether it's your 360 or your PS3, that was wasted in video football gaming because either designers got lazy and rested on a franchise name, or there was simply no competition in the marketplace to force them to make a better product. So while I wouldn't tell you not to buy Madden 12, I'd tell you to at least go rent it, honestly, and see if it's a game you're interested in playing. Because as I said, if you didn't like 2K's version of football, I have a real hard time thinking you're going to like this version of Madden. Because essentially, that's what this plays like more than anything else. And for the detractors that never liked my commentary or the channel or what we were trying to do with the game when we showed 2K5 and 2K8, I have almost an impossible time thinking you were going to play and enjoy this game, because it's not like any Madden I think you've had to deal with before.